Money Radio, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. It's time to talk real estate with Laura Bramnick from TalkRealEstateAZ.com. TalkRealEstateAZ.com. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Sinclair.
Good to see you again.
It's good to be here.
Laura is an attorney. She's also a real estate agent. She has been an active real estate investor. She's a certified instructor with the Arizona Department of Real Estate. But really it's the combination, real estate agent as well as real estate attorney. You're licensed through the State Bar of Arizona and you specialize in real estate, and that's a great combination.
Yes, it can be very helpful to my clients.
And sometimes it doesn't cost more to have that legal representation.
That's correct.
So find out more about that by visiting the website TalkRealEstateAZ.com or call 480-624-2705. 480-624-2705, and you work on residential and commercial and land transactions.
That's correct.
Or if somebody just has a legal issue related to real estate, you can help with that.
Yes.
And you can represent buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, HOA, or homeowner, all these different things.
Yeah, and if I can't, I help them find the right person to help them.
Yeah. We were talking last week about liens, and there are so many different kinds. I'd kind of forgotten about it. The most common, of course, is that someone has a mortgage on their property.
That's correct.
And that creates a lien.
Yes, it does.
Tax liens,
Yep.
HOA liens, mechanics liens.
Yeah, mechanics liens are probably the most complicated in terms of how you file them and what the requirements are. Because they're used a lot of times by contractors and subcontractors when they work on your home.
Right.
The most common is if you're renovating, doing a big renovation or you're building a home. But it really can be used by any contractor. And it allows them, if they follow the rules, to put a lien on your house if you haven't paid them.
Okay.
And what happens is also, as you know, many times when people build a home, there's a general contractor and then there's various subcontractors.
Right.
And many times the subcontractors are independent from the general contractor.
So this is a way to ensure that
And
they
so,
get properly paid.
yes, they can file a lien if the contractor doesn't pay them. There are some exceptions, and that is if the property is owner occupied, the contractor has to have a contract with the owner. So a sub would not be able to file the lien if the property is owner occupied. They could sue, but they couldn't file the lien. But many times the lien has a lot more bite in it than filing the lawsuit, because it would prevent the owner from refinancing or borrowing against the property, and it would definitely be a cloud on the title.
When can the mechanic put the lien on the property? Once they've completed the work on the property, or
No,
before?
they actually file a notice within so many days of when they start working. And the statute is very specific about how they do it, how they have to serve the notice, and also when there is a general contractor, a lot of times they'll have to post a bond. And so sometimes the subs can get paid from the bond.
And what about taking the lien, the mechanic's lien, off of the property once the homeowner has paid?
Yeah, because the lien gets recorded because it becomes public record. And anytime you record a lien against a property, there are consequences if you don't take it off. And it's supposed to be taken off, like the debt's been paid, for instance.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that you file a discharge of lien.
So this can get to be a little bit complicated sometimes.
Yeah, there's also something called a waiver, which maybe a homeowner who's fairly savvy, who hires a contractor, may have them sign a waiver, which means that they have agreed not to file a lien. And I think, so you have to be aware which side you're on, and if somebody presents you a waiver, make sure you understand what it means.
Well, this is a way for the workers to ensure a payment, because they can't just go and like take the roof off.
Right, that's
if they
right.
don't get paid.
That's right. They can't just move into the house.
Okay, so those are the major types of liens: mechanics, tax, the mortgage itself, HOA. HOA can get complicated.
Yeah, now in foreclosure, most liens go away, but the ones that don't go away are really the property tax lien. But the HOA lien goes away in foreclosure, then the HOA sues the borrower, the prior owner. And you see a lot of those suits. I see a lot of those lawsuits after foreclosure.
So even though Arizona is a non-recourse state, the mortgage lender can't go back for recourse in a foreclosure, but an HOA can.
Definitely. And people are caught off guard with that. I have a lot of time. I have a lot of people call me, and sometimes the HOA doesn't find them right away, you know, because they've moved,
Right.
because they've had to leave their home. And as you know, in the downturn, many people felt forced into foreclosure. It's not like they
Sure.
just tried to skip out on their debt. And so I'll have people call me and they'll say, you know, the fees, the attorney's fees and the late fees and the penalties are more than I actually owe. I mean, you know, a small $500 or $600 debt can easily turn into a $3,000 debt.
Wow.
And so you just want to be aware of that. And I'll say, well, how long has it been since you paid? Well, 2 years, you know, that kind of thing. So the federal tax lien goes away in foreclosure.
Oh.
And in a deed of trust foreclosure, a trustee sale. Now, I had a client call me the other day, and he said, I'm buying a property from somebody, and there's a tax lien on it, and it was foreclosed. Well, I don't think it was foreclosed. I think what happened is that the owner didn't make his payments and transferred to another party for a certain amount of payment. And in that case, the tax lien doesn't go away so fast.
So a lot of things you really need to be aware of, and you need to find out if there is a lien on the property before you go too far in a transaction, and then make sure that it can be cleaned up, make sure that there's proper title that can be passed along to you.
Yeah. Now with judgment liens, like if somebody sues you for a debt and they get a judgment against you, that you have the $150,000 homestead protection. So that if you have less than $150,000 in equity, you could still sell your home.
Okay.
And as long as you reinvest that within 18 months. So that there's a lot of kind of tricks of the trade that go along with these types of liens.
I think I figured it out. If there is an issue regarding a lien, the best thing to do is to call Laura Bramnick.
I can certainly help them if they call.
Yeah, absolutely. 480-624-2705. That's Laura's phone number. 480-624-2705. Laura does answer her own phone, so call 480-624-2705. You can also find out more information at talkrealestateaz.com. talkrealestateaz.com. Laura, this is important stuff, and we thank you so much.
Thanks, Sinclair.